Hello and welcome to another episode of Punto How To. I'm in my office today and doing something a little bit different. I thought in this video I would check out with you this, which has just come through the door today. It is the Fiat Punto Brochure that would have been provided in the dealerships when you were looking to buy a brand new Fiat Punto back in the 1990s. So take a little trip with me back to the 1990s and we will have a look through this brochure together. So hopefully you can see the front of the brochure here. We've got a nice blue Punto on the front. Looking on the back, there's a tiny little date stamp here which says that it's edition 5 1997. So my guess is that this dates, well, it says edition 5-97, so I'm guessing it dates from around 1997. This covers all of the Fiat Puntos in the range in the 90s, so it's not just the Cabrio. It covers the GT and the Sporting, and we'll look at all of those as we go through. So first off, in the 1990s, if you've watched House of Gucci, you will know that everyone was wearing white roll neck jumpers. That's pretty standard in the 1990s. We've got some generic pictures of smiling with nothing to do with cars. We've got a crash test Punto, a woman hugging a baby and a sunflower, which all seems pretty reasonable when you're trying to sell a car. Built with passion, designed with passion, built with pride. And then it sort of talks about the 3 and 5 door Fiat Punto. You will have chosen a car that's been deliberately designed to arouse the passions, a tribute to the finest skills of Giorgetto Gicario, I can never say that man's name, widely acclaimed as the maestro of popular car design. The Fiat Punto has style and originality which is enhanced by a wide range of exclusive colours. It's worth pointing out, so with the Fiat 600 a couple of months back, the CEO of Fiat did a bit of a publicity stunt where they dunked a Fiat 600 in an enormous tin of paint. They made a big deal about not having grey cars. Just wait towards the end of this brochure, you'll see just how many colour options there were for the original Fiat Punto, and then I will go on the website for the Fiat 600 and show you just how few number of colours there are for the new Fiat 600. And you will realise that really they have no choice in colours at all with the new cars, and with these old ones in the 90s they had loads of choice. So turning the page, we get our first glimpse of the Cabrio. Fiat Punto, the human touch. When the Punto first on the drawing board, it was decided to create a car which put people first. So instead of creating a shape designed for humans, it was humans who created and designed the shape. The Punto was literally built around people. I mean, to be honest, let's just cut the shit here. All cars are designed by humans. They tend to be drawn by humans long before the computers and robots and everything else gets involved with the build process. So, yeah, they're all designed by humans. And most cars are built to take a human in them. They are designed, what did they say? They are literally built around people. Most cars literally are built around people, as it is people who tend to use them. So, typical marketing rubbish. The inside story, the elegant cloth upholstery is available in different shades to complement and enhance the character and colour of the car. On the 3-door model, the front passenger seat has tilt and slide mechanism to provide easier access for rear passengers. Again, pretty standard stuff in a 3-door car, that you can tilt and move the front passenger seat out of the way, and the driver's seat usually. There's a lot of waffle in these brochures. It's kind of unfortunate they don't do them anymore. I think when I bought my Volkswagen Golf in 2015, it was the last car, or one of the last cars that Volkswagen actually did a brochure for. So it's quite sad to see them go, because it used to be quite cool to go in the dealerships and pick up the brochures, but yeah, they're full of rubbish. We look at the various different models here. We've got a wonderful shot of this woman staring back at the person taking the photo, which is kind of a bit creepy. I'm gonna zoom in on her face in a minute. You can see that she's a bit creepy. The power to move you. Not everyone wants the same performance levels from their car. Some are more concerned by MPG than MPH. Very British. Happy to leave the faster driving to those who enjoy such things. I would just like to point out at this moment in the video, because I'm sure somebody's going to comment on it, I have spent hours in the last few days working on my Punto engine, and my fingernails are quite dirty. I can't get it out, it's actually stained under my fingernails, so feel free to comment about that, but I have scrubbed them like raw and I still can't get the muck out. Then we have a little chat about the engines. So we've got quite a few choices here. We've got 60 horsepower 1.2, we have got a 75 horsepower, also 1.2, we have got the 85 horsepower 16 valve 1.2, a 130 horsepower or T130, which is the GT engine, it's the turbo. Then we've got a 60 and a 70 horsepower diesel. They were both 1.7 engines. By this point in 1997, I think they dropped the 1.6 petrol engine altogether. That was something that they did earlier on. Mine's the 85 horsepower engine. Well, it says 85 16 valves, actually 86 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. 83 foot-pounds of torque at 4,500 RPM. 4 cylinders inline with 4 valves per cylinder. Yeah, I've just spent hours grinding all those cylinder valves back in. And twin overhead camshafts with hydraulic tappets, which are currently all over the floor of my garage. Multi-point injection, electronic injection, and electronic static advanced ignition combined with injection. So that was pretty advanced stuff for back in the 1990s. To get 85 horsepower out of a 1.2 litre engine, that was quite an achievement. They got 130 horsepower out of the 1.4 turbo in the GT, and it's worth noting that that GT engine, it was as powerful as a lot of the big saloon cars of that day, but it was a car that weighed next to nothing by comparison, so that was pretty impressive figures for a Fiat of that era. Then we have a little blurb about Fiat Punto's superb drivability. It has to be said, the handling of the Punto was quite good. It doesn't use a dissimilar setup in suspension as the original Mini, with separate subframes for the front and rear, with trailing arms on the back and roll bars on the back, so it's quite a good little handling setup. Safety, performance not compromised. So again, I mean, we were getting into the era, it sort of shows a little picture here, getting into the era of computer designing cars. Still quite in its infancy, but it was quite advanced stuff back then. We've got a little picture here of the sort of safety cell inside the car. I've got a picture of the inside of the Cabrio's safety cell as well, so there's quite a lot of added structure in the Cabrio to make it a bit stronger. Choosing the Punto that's right for you. The Punto's natural home is on the road, any road. Put it in a congested city street and it will slip away from the lights, carve through traffic and ease into the tight parking places that other cars wouldn't even consider. Take it out on a sweeping country lane and it will hug the corners and flatten out the hills as if they weren't there. I think that's probably a bit of a stretch, but yeah, the handling and the performance on such a little car was pretty nifty for its time. Lively and economical is the S model. They got the SX model and the Selector, which is like an automatic version. We talk about the S. I had an S, I had a 60 horsepower S that was a 99 T-Reg. I have put some pictures of that on the channel in the past. Has a 5-speed gearbox and an FPS system with fuel flow stop valve. Height adjustable seat belts with pre-tensioners, front head restraints, 3-speed heating and ventilation with 8 vents. I mean, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel when they're talking about how many vents it's got for the heating. Locking fuel cap, a sliding passenger seat with setting memory. So it's pretty basic stuff. And we've got the Selector with electric front windows, central locking, rev counter, digital clock, so we're getting advanced stuff now with the digital clock. Here's a few extras on the SX illuminated luggage compartment. It's quite fancy. And then we have the ELX, which is elegant and exclusive. ELX was quite a common mark on Fiats up until the early 2000s. I think the Mark II even came in an ELX spec. We have got body-coloured bumpers, body-coloured door mirrors, electric front windows with one-touch control on the driver's side, an electric sunroof, driver's airbag, central locking with remote rev counter, 4-speed heating controls with ventilation system with 10 air vents. 10 air vents on the ELX, that's how fancy they were. We only got 8 air vents on the lower spec car. Split rear seat, digital clock, height adjustable steering wheel, rear head restraints, seat back pockets, illuminated luggage compartment. I must check actually, my Cabrio is an ELX, I wonder if that's got a seat back pocket, I can't say I've looked. Hearing 6-speaker RDS stereo system. The RDS stereo system has long gone out of mine and it's been replaced by a horrible Panasonic thing from the early 2000s. Then we have 2 sports cars in one, which I think sports cars is a little bit of a stretch, but the Sporting definitely was quite a fun car to drive, and the GT was definitely a fun car to drive. So the Sporting got the same 85 horsepower engine as the Cabrio did, and the GT obviously got the 130 horsepower turbo. There are some who feel that although the Fiat Punto is versatile and practical, it also has the ability and feel of a real driver's car. There are 2 models in the Punto range which really do tend to support this view, the Fiat Punto GT and the Fiat Punto Sporting. Those who enjoy the excitement of dynamic high-performance motoring, both these fast-moving hatchbacks are sheer pleasure. Powered by a lusty 1.4 turbocharged engine, the Punto GT is unambiguously dedicated to sports driving. Then we've got a little bit about the Sporting, so driver's airbag, power steering, alloy wheels, extra supportive sports seats with height and lumbar adjustment, so it's all pretty fancy. Body coloured bumpers, adjustable door mirrors, internally adjustable door mirrors, sorry, so we didn't get electric mirrors on the Sporting. I think it had its own, I'm not sure if the Sporting had the fancy 3-spoke steering wheel the same as the GT, but yeah, we've got all the same stuff really as most of the others. It's got 10 air vents, 4-speed heating system, central console, side rubbing strips with Sporting logo, height adjustable front head restraints, rear head restraints, that's something that's an addition on the Sporting. 2-tone horn, and we're back to only a 4-speaker stereo system. The GT, again, this is probably the one that got the most gadgets and gizmos. It's got 14-inch alloy wheels with that are in like an anthracite grey colour, leather gear knob and gaiter, extra supportive sport seats with height and lumbar adjustment, rear head restraints including rev counter and turbo pressure gauge, brake wear, brake lights and door open telltales, fog lights, headlight washers, it's the only model that got the headlight washers, electrically adjustable and heated door mirrors, would be quite a handy little feature on mine, but I don't think they're transferable. Electric sunroof, electric front windows with one-touch control. Electric sunroof in the 1990s was quite a thing to have. I think the end of the 90s was when they started becoming quite common, but at the beginning of the 90s lots of cars had sunroofs, but anyone from that era will know you used to have a little handle and you had to wind it vigorously to get the sunroof to open. And then we come to the Cabrio. Nothing quite matches the exciting sense of absolute pleasure that driving in the open air can give. I'm a bit of a Cabrio fan. Both my cars have got a Golf GT Cabrio, a Cabriolet, and the Punto Cabrio as well. If they hadn't have gone out of business, I would have had a Saab Cabrio because I loved Saabs. I think they're beautiful cars as well. Cabrio is the finest expression of the Punto's personality and the best way to enjoy the best qualities of the car. Certainly it's cheerful, sunny and lively and eminently stylish car with the potential to make driving one of life's pleasures. The Fiat Punto Cabrio is more than just a car. I wonder how many times we've heard that. Then we've got the blurb all about the Cabrio, quality from the top down. It's got much the same gizmos and gadgets as the 5-door and 3-door ELX. We've got a picture here of it showing the seats down with a telescope in the back. I have to say that telescope probably would have fitted in sideways without putting the seats down. We've got the electrically operated hood and the height adjustable steering wheel and the illuminated luggage compartment and the 6-speaker stereo system. Have we got 10 vents? We have got 10 air vents, that's good. We've got 10 air vents, then we've got 4-speed heating. We come to the actual Abarth stuff. At this point in Fiat's life, Abarth had more or less disappeared and they'd sort of been relegated to an accessories catalogue, which, to be honest, back in the early days of Abarth was kind of what they were. They were an aftermarket parts company that would sell you bits to bolt onto your Fiat and make it go faster. They mainly started selling exhaust, so really, at this stage, Fiat were sort of being a little bit true to their past history. Now they've become much more of a brand in their own right. They don't sell bits that you can just bolt onto your regular Fiat and make it a bit sporty, but back in the 90s we had aftermarket steering wheels and alloy wheels and gear knobs and exhausts, spoilers, car mats, and you could even get set of Abarth sunglasses and a very cheap watch that probably cost a lot of money. I know they never put prices in the brochures because the prices could change on a day's notice. Then we've got the usual kind of waffle about the 12-month unlimited mileage and mechanical warranty, which is pretty shocking by today's standards because you'd expect at least 3 years nowadays, and some of the Korean manufacturers do like 5 and 7 years and even more in some cases. 8-year anti-perforation warranty, which was a big deal for Fiat at that time. Fiat made a lot of effort to stem the problems with rust that their cars were having, so to have that 8-year anti-perforation warranty was a big deal. 3-year paintwork warranty. Fiat AA support services for 12 months. It's a breakdown cover basically. Finance plans, 12 months parts and repairs guarantee, fixed service costs. Fiat and the disabled motorist, I think they offered Motability cars back in the day. Fiat information and customer service, you could phone them up on a free phone number, which I've got no idea if it's in service anymore, but 0800 71 7000 numbers to give access to their dedicated information and customer services facilities, providing you with details of Fiat dealerships and offering additional services such as extended workshop hours, auto clinic and approved body shop facilities. Then we just get into all the technical specifications. We've got a breakdown of all the models across the top. We've got all the various bits and pieces that are sort of relevant. We've got things like the transmission gear ratios and the bore and stroke and displacement and compression ratios and power and all the rest of it. All stuff that people used to actually care about in the day, but nowadays you barely see that sort of information anywhere on the websites that you look up cars on. The exterior stuff, so this is where you get all the standard stuff, is all these little grey boxes, and then the little dots are optional extra, and the dashes mean that you couldn't have it. So you can see on, say, the lower spec model, lots of dashes, a couple of little optional extras, but then unlike the GT model, there's lots of standard stuff. Safety, big deal on safety is that pretty much all of the models had quite high safety standards. The only thing was the driver's airbag was optional on the lower spec models, and then the passenger airbag became optional on the higher spec models, but it had the standard driver's airbag. And then we get to the list of colours. Now remember what I said at the beginning of the video about all of the colours that you could get on the original Punto back in the 90s. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 colours. 2 of those are grey, there is black and there's white. So 11 different vibrant colours that you could get your Fiat Punto in. Now, we'll have a look in on the Fiat website in a minute. In fact, I can bring that up. I think there is only about 5 colours that you can get on the Fiat 600. Let me have a quick glance. Yeah, so back about 6 months or so ago, they made a massive deal about the Fiat 600 and all the colours that you would be able to get it in, because They weren't going to be selling any grey cars anymore. Now, there's something ironic about that, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, you can get black, red, or a colour or white. You can then get this sort of turquoisey blue colour. It's called Green Sea of Italy, an orangey colour, and then a Sand Earth of Italy, which looks suspiciously like a kind of light grey. And then we've got the interior colours. It was the 90s, interior colours were pretty disgusting by today's standards, but back in the day they were again all bright and colourful. The only thing that really annoys me is that the Fiat Punto Cabrio, which is there, only came with one colour interior, and it is horrible, and I hate it, and it will be going. So I will be removing it from the car, and that is the whole brochure. So, at the moment on the screen right now you will see a couple of videos you might be interested in. One will be my most recent video and another one will be one that YouTube thinks you'll be interested in. But as for me, I will see you in the next video, which will probably be me buried up to my eyeballs in grease trying to put an engine back together. Take care, bye for now.